What's up, everybody? It's Mikhail Casanova coming at you with another episode of Decked Up, a Steam Deck podcast. This is episode 6. 6 episodes deep. It's kind of crazy. I just wasn't expecting the show to be going as good as it has been over the last several weeks that it's been available, and I'm excited because hey, it's always a good time. Hopefully, everyone has had a good day today. I know I'm starting this episode a little bit late. Well, kind of a whole lot late. I'm like almost an hour and a half late. Well, I originally was going to start at 1 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, but then what ended up happening is that a lot of house chores I need to take care of, some cleaning and stuff. And so I wanted to take care of that. And once I got that out of the way, I wanted to focus on, getting some lunch, getting some caffeine, making sure, family's fed and all that good stuff. And then prepping for what I'm going to do for the rest of the day because it's going to be a busy rest of the day. I have a lot of products that actually just came in, a lot of stuff that's come in from Rocat that has not been officially announced that I will be doing a video on because they're sponsoring a video for me doing some stuff with their products with Steam Deck. So I'm excited for that. And then outside of that, um, I've got a bunch of other devices on the way. I've got some docks coming in for the Steam Deck, so I'm excited for that. A lot of news to talk about, a lot of things. I know we talked about it previously on previous podcasts as well. You know, the one I did with Bill from Games of Bill and the Nerd Nest, and also, yeah, a lot to dive into today. So, if it's your first time watching or listening or watching live stream live, welcome. I'm Mikhail Casanova, and this is Decked Up, Steam Deck Podcast. It's primarily Steam Deck oriented, but we talk about gaming, tech, and more. And I want to dive into some announcements before we dive further into this episode. Um, I will be having on the next episode that we do will be next week Sunday. So it's going to be October 16th at 3 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. I will be having on the one and only James, aka the Brink of Games Reveal. I'm excited to have him on the show. Big fan of his channel. If you haven't checked out Games Reveal yet, definitely an amazing resource for all things Steam Deck. And really excited to have him on. Amy, gaming chick, how you doing? Said Deckham. Yeah, you know what? I might have to put that on a t-shirt. Might have to put that on a t-shirt. That would be dope. Gary Brisset says, will an inexpensive SD card work on the deck? So as far as the Steam Deck goes, one of the things that you really want to have, as far as a micro SD card goes, you want to have something that has a A2 rating. So let me pull up Amazon on my main computer here. Yeah, see, I'm all professional right here. I am all professional. Not really, not at all. So, micro SD cards for Steam Deck. Let me switch over to this other screen. All right, so we're gonna look at some micro SD cards. So what you definitely want to look for, you want to make sure it says A2, like an A2 V30. It can be class 2, class 3, that doesn't really matter. But you want it to at least have A2. That way, when you put in games on your micro SD card, it's able to take full advantage of the speed of the micro SD drive that's on your Steam Deck. So, Samsung Evo Selects are good, SanDisk Extreme are good. You want to stay away from these really cheap no-name cards that like you don't really know, like you've probably never heard of. Here's the rule of thumb. If you're looking to get a micro SD card for your Steam Deck, if you can't walk into a store and buy any of these name brands, then don't bother with it. If you can't walk into a store and get a SanDisk or a PNY or a Samsung or there's another brand, I'm trying to think of the name of them. Lexar, all these other ones, I can't vouch for them. And I would say, again, if you can't go into the store and buy it, don't bother with it. That's just a rule of thumb. A lot of these. What's up, everybody? Thank you for everyone who's coming through. If you enjoyed any of the previous episodes and you enjoy the content I put out, Steam Deck related and whatnot, make sure you hit the like button. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. Share it around. Bring folks in. Um, but yeah, so cards I recommend. So I like the Samsung Evo Select and the Samsung Pro series. You can typically get these cheap. You know, this right now. This is on sale. 512 gig for $67. Normally this is $109 on Amazon. So, definitely nothing wrong with those. I think what I have in my Steam Deck right now, I think I have a SanDisk Extreme. I think I've got the 1 terabyte model in my Steam Deck. I need to order another one because I need to put it in my Switch OLED because I'm running out of space on my Switch OLED. And I got so much stuff on my Switch that, especially stuff coming in for review that I'm just working on, and I'm just like running out of space overall. Let me brighten my camera a little bit. So I'm using a webcam right now, just because, like, okay, I'll show you guys. If I switch over to I deleted my source. If I switch over to my regular camera, as you can see, it's all like meh. But if I switch over to my webcam, it looks a lot better. Plus, you don't get to see all the stuff behind me, um, which is something like I don't want folks to be able to see the bedroom. I'm operating out of too cleanly, too clean. So that's that. But yeah, so these are the ones you want to look for. You don't need to get a terabyte. It really is up to you, depending on how much you game. If you're gonna do a lot of gaming, I would say, you know, maybe maybe like a 512, maybe a 400 gig, maybe a 256 gig. It really depends. If you're gonna be doing like a lot of emulating, um a lot of third party launchers, a lot, or if you're gonna like dual boot Windows 10, I know, or Windows 11, I know Gaming Chick, who's in the chat right now, she's done dual booting, Windows dual booting, and she's loving it. So she just got her Steam Deck. Correct me if I'm wrong, Amy, I think you got your Steam Deck, I believe, 4 or 5 days ago, and she's been tinkering like crazy, and absolutely, like, there's so much to it. There's so much that she's just absolutely loving doing. Let me catch up with the chat. Rio the Burninator, what's up? How you doing? He said, "Hey yo, ha! I like that. I like that." Razor Ramon reference. Andrew Vandell says you love James, aka The Brink, aka Games Revealed. Yeah, I'm super excited to have Games Revealed on. Super excited. Big fan. I've been following his channel since the beginning of the year, before he got a Steam Deck, and it's, I'm excited for his growth. I'm excited, and I love the content he's been putting out, and just big fan. Yeah. So I'm working on the thumbnail. I'm gonna be putting it up and promoting it, and I will say this: if you guys haven't already, definitely make sure you go and sub to his channel. Let me go pull up the link to his channel just in case. Or Esoteric Wolf, how you doing? I see you in the chat. Um, Congrats on him. He just hit 5,000 subs. The growth has been phenomenal. Yeah, so make sure you go check him out. Definitely give him a sub. Highly recommend him if you're looking for Steam Deck content. He covers a lot. Real big fan of his channel. James Trainer says, "What do you think of the Steam Deck dock being plastic while JSOX is aluminum and cheaper?" All right. Yeah, I can definitely. So yeah, let's do. We're gonna open up a Q&A. So we'll start answering some questions. Any questions you guys have, make sure you're definitely throw them at me here, and we can definitely talk about that here. We switch back over to the scene. That'll be the first segment, and then we'll go from that to talking about the other stuff that I have on the docket here. But let's see. Esoteric Wolf says, "Hey, Mikhail, just stopping by to say hi. Hope all is well. Would have stayed longer, but I'm at my auntie's house right now and going to go to a barbecue. No work, no worries at all. Thank you for coming through, and thank you, Mikhail, for your support. We appreciate you, and we're also happy for your girl. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, all right. So, James, as far as your question goes, regarding Steam Deck dock being plastic and the JSOX dock being aluminum and cheaper. So I have said, well, I feel like I've been saying since like the official announcement and reveal of the Steam Deck dock that for me personally, I think the dock itself from Valve is about $60, right? 50, $60. And they're charging $25 to $30 for the powered brick. So that's why it's so much more expensive. I think they should have given an option for if you wanted to get the Steam Deck dock from them, where you can get it with the power brick, you can get it without it. You know, you think about Nintendo with the Switch, right? You can buy the dock itself, or you can buy the dock and the power brick. You're not forced to like just pick one. I think that was a missed opportunity on their end by forcing you to basically just get what they're telling you you have to get. I don't agree with that. Um, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that. But as far as the build quality, the JSOX dock being cheaper in aluminum, um, uh, I'll kick it off first off with the Valve Steam Deck dock. So that being plastic, um, I want to say I want to see the sides of it because I know mines will be coming in Tuesday. Mines will be here Tuesday. Um, and let's go back over to this thing. We'll look at it. So okay, so with this rotating, this does not have. I'm not seeing where this is going to ventilate off the heat, unless they've made it in a way that it doesn't like amass a lot of heat. But the fact that it's plastic versus aluminum, that is something that I find questionable. I think making it out of aluminum would have been smarter, especially because aluminum dissipates heat a lot better than plastic does. Plastic will retain heat and eventually can warp and whatnot. So the fact that it has not, um, or the fact that not that it has not, but the fact that it's made out of plastic, especially for how much you're paying for it, that's less of a premium. I don't understand their logic for that. I think that's really, really dumb of them to make it out of plastic. Although maybe it's the same type of plastic material that the Steam Deck is made out of. And the Steam Deck does well with heat. So until it mines comes in on Tuesday, when I will be doing an unboxing and talk about it. I might even do a live stream if you guys are interested in it, and just give you guys my impressions and thoughts right then and there, and cross and compare it. But as far as the plastic, yeah, it's less of a premium. Yeah, so with the aluminum magnesium that it's made out of for JSOX, it dissipates. It's not going to retain heat to the same degree that pure plastic will. So that's that. All right, esoteric. Well, thank you for coming through. So that's one of the things I feel like is a myth. It's a knock against the Valve dock. But as far as the JSOX dock, which we can we'll switch over to that. I had it up. There we go. So I don't know if this is a miss. They say USB 3.1 here when they're talking about their new dock, but when you go into like the article itself, it says 3.1. So it might have been a mistweet. But at least with the JSOX dock, right? You've got all the same things that you get with the official Valve Steam Deck dock. You get DisplayPort, you get the USB-C power, delivery port power through. You get your HDMI 2.0. So DisplayPort 1.4, you HDMI 2.0, so you can do 4K at 60, or with the DisplayPort 2K at 120 hertz, so that they say. So you got 3 USB 3.1 connectors, and you got your gigabit Ethernet output. So all the same specs as the official dock. The biggest difference, as you can see, I don't know if I can do a side by side, but you see this. The biggest problem is it's covering right here the ventilation to an extent. That could be a problem. So the way I've dealt with it with the other Steam Deck docks that I have is I put it a little off to the side so the ventilation is not blocked. If we look at the official Steam Deck dock, it's not blocking the ventilation at all, as you can see. Now, I haven't played anything outside of like Cyberpunk 2077 that has pushed my Steam Deck to get, to the point where the fans are just kicking in and just blowing. But that is something to be concerned about. Is it's blocked right here on the JSOX dock, and I don't understand why they have not really addressed that, because even with the Ivalar Steam Deck dock, that one also does not block the ventilation, but this one does. So looking at this, that's a little something to be concerned about. Also, in comparison, this right here, as you see, there's no case on it. It's just purely the Steam Deck dock, or Steam Deck sitting right there on the dock, perfectly fitted for it. And we don't know for a fact. Mahalo, James Brinkhoff, for the sub. I appreciate you. We don't know if this fits with a case. So if you got the Kill Switch case, you get the JSOX case, or you got any of the third-party cases that you can get off of Amazon, we don't know if that fits unless somebody has gotten their official Steam Deck dock in already. I personally don't know if it fits with a case. I do know that the JSOX fits with a case, so it works with the Kill Switch, which does elevate it a little bit, and also with the JSOX dock, or case rather, not dock. But the JSOX dock works with those cases and third-party cases to elevate it a little bit so where the ventilation is not blocked. But by itself, with a naked Steam Deck, it's going to cover those ventilation. So that's not good. That's something I do find to be a little concerning. But price. So the price of this upcoming JSOX dock, I believe they mentioned it's going to be like $60. Yeah, so this is the HBO 702. So this is going to be about $60. And I think shipping is free. Yeah, so it says shipping costs won't be included in your order. So yeah, that's about $30 cheaper than the official. So if we factor in all that this has, cross and compare, this official Valve Steam Deck dock is about $60, and then you're paying $30 for the power brick that's included. They're virtually identical, except this is smaller, made of plastic. And one additional benefit of the Valve dock versus the JSOCs and other third parties is with the Valve one, it automatically updates the it automatically updates the firmware for the dock. So when you do your Steam Deck update, it'll update the dock. Whereas with the JSOCs, Ivalar, and other third party ones, when they push out firmware, you're gonna need to connect it to a Windows computer. So if you use Mac, or if you use Linux, or if you don't have a computer at all, you're gonna have issues trying to update this dock. Now, the main reason you're gonna want to update this dock, outside of all the stuff that uh, Valve is going to be, they're making improvements for, which is like big picture mode and everything like that when you connect it to a monitor. The big difference, or the big thing with um, this, is that this does have issues with LG type monitors, so you have to keep that in mind. So LG monitors, like my wife has a LG 4K monitor, which I originally had. I actually swapped her MSI for 1440p monitor with my 4K LG, just so I could be able to use the Steam Deck on this monitor. It works with everything. It works with my ultra wide here. It works with my Samsung 4K 144 hertz monitor, and it works with the MSI. It does not work with the LG. It doesn't work with my LG TV either. So I haven't had the time to really run the update on it, but that's one thing you'll run into. And I think there are certain select Samsung monitors that it does have issues working with as well. So that's something to take into consideration when it comes to these docks. I do believe that this one comes with it. The HBO 702, I believe, does have the update already, but any further updates with their firmware that they're going to need to keep up with Valve's system updates, you're just going to have a Windows computer. Whereas with this, it's taken care of as soon as you do the download. So that's going to be one of the biggest differences. Ron Q says, or Ron Chi QI says, just get the Valve dock since it automatically updates. James Trainer says, I might buy the dock eventually. Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons. Like, if you don't need another power supply. Okay, so that's the other thing. We need to talk about power supplies, right? So the power supply that comes with the official Steam Deck dock from Valve is 45 watts, right? I believe, let me double check. I believe it's the 45 watt. Yeah, I'm going to say 45 watts. Okay, so 45 watts. So this takes up to, I don't know if they state anywhere that it can go above 45 watts. The dock itself from Valve. Yeah, they don't mention anywhere. Yeah, they don't mention that it can take more than I said your name right. Yeah, cool. Ria DeBerner said, "Okay, I'm getting a new Samsung TV. I hope it'll work with it. Getting an S9 5P. Yeah, it should be fine with that. If it's one of the newer ones, I think it should be fine. So this dock is so the PSU 45 watts. So it supplies 45 watts of power to this, and I would say if you're probably using DisplayPort and HDMI, and you're using all three USB 3.1s and gigabit Ethernet, I don't know if 45 watts is going to be enough. They market it like it will be enough. I don't know if it will be enough. I don't know if it can do up to 100 watts with only 45 going to the Steam Deck and everything else getting the rest of the power. So there's nothing that they've specified to talk about. Whereas this one has a 100-watt power input. So you're going to get, like, if you got a power brick, which I had one over here somewhere. Here we go. So I've got a 100-watt power brick right here that I've got from Best Buy on clearance, like $10. And I can use this with the JSOX, get that 100 watts straight through, and power the Steam Deck. It won't charge it any faster. It's going to limit it to the 45 stock that the Steam Deck can take. So it'll get the 45 to the Steam Deck, and everything else will be properly powered. So I can utilize that 3.1. The three USB 3.1 is perfectly fine with no issues, and DisplayPort and the HDMI as well. So that's something to keep in mind. We know that there's a 100-watt pass through on the JSOX HBO 702, and actually, I want to say all their docks have a 100-watt pass through. So the HB 603 has, which is the one I'm primarily using right now. The HB 604, so which I have that on the way. They're sending that over to me. I don't know if it's going to come with one of the drives, but I do have that on the way. I believe this has a 100-watt pass through as well. I mean, I'm kind of excited to test this out, though. Not gonna lie. Um, I don't recall if this. I believe this does. I would never buy this one. They need to discontinue the HBO 602. The first dock that they made, discontinue it. That's right, because they. Do you guys remember what happened with JSOX and that dock they were making? It was a HBO 603 that was gonna have a display port, and they quietly stopped talking about it, and then they just incorporated it into the HBO 702. Ryu, as far as I know, when it comes to JSOX, it still takes a long time to get to you. I think it's slightly faster because most of their stuff is coming out of like somewhere in New York. I think it's Gardens or something. Let me check. I'm gonna double check right now. Springfield Gardens, New York, is where most of their shipments are coming out of as of the last couple weeks. Um, that's one, and that's another difference you got between Valve and JSOX. Is Valve is going to get to you within like a week or two, maybe less, whereas it could be less. Yeah, because I ordered my official dock Thursday morning as soon as it was available, and then it's going to be here Tuesday, if not tomorrow. Whereas like the JSOX, the biggest thing working against them is shipping. That's the biggest problem they have is shipping. So if they can get that out to people quicker, it'd be a lot better. That's one thing going against them. Because even like Ivalar and all the others, if you go on Amazon, you can get it quick. They fall under Prime shipping. So Secret Limited says hoping for a Black Friday sale for the Steam Deck dock. I doubt it, but wishing. Yeah, I'm telling you, they need another option where this is going to be just $60. If it was 60 or 50, they would be selling like hotcakes. But yeah, the main benefit is that automatic update. That's the main thing I'm looking at is the benefit of going with it. But yeah, so this is the one that's shipping out now. I think some people are able to order it. And then like there's an article. So if you've got a JSOX dock and you need to update the firmware, I'll drop the link in the chat so people, if you haven't already, you can check it out. But yeah, they're working on updates for it. Let's see. We also let's see what else. Can catch up with the chat. What up, Dream? How you doing? Corona of Mana says, yeah, a lot of the SD cards are fake on Amazon. Yeah, they are. You got to be really careful. A lot of them on Amazon are completely fake. And, I wouldn't want anyone getting swindled. Just because it's cheap, if it's cheap, always double check it. If you can't buy it, go in the store and buy it, or if it's not a known brand, don't take a chance on it. Let's see. Catching up, catching up. All right, shout out to Soup Kitchen. Mahalo for the sub. Appreciate that. Definitely trying to grow. We're trying to hit our goal of 20,000 before the year ends. We're getting very close. We're about less than 5,000 subs away from that. So I appreciate that. So the other thing I want to talk about is the Steam Deck. So there is no more reservation. So that's cool. So, you know, last year, was it July 16th of 2021, is when we were initially able to put our $5 down to reserve a Steam Deck. And when we were able to do that, it was such a mess. Their servers were not prepped for it. It kept crashing, wouldn't let people go through. And then we got put in a queue. So, it was supposed to initially start shipping end of 2021, got delayed to February 2022 or this year. And then we had to go through so many instances where, you know, depending on which model you got would determine when you got it. People who pre-ordered the 64 and the 256 gig Steam Decks were getting them like crazy. Like, God, they were just going and going and going and going and going. Those of us like me, like I'm not one of the content creators that got one sent by Valve. Shout out to all those who got that sent to them, because that's amazing. I didn't. I paid for mine's and my wife's with my own money, and I had the 512 gig, and that time it was running so slow. Like, we were getting 10 seconds, 30 seconds. Like, that's how slow it was moving in the queue up until like mid Q2 when they started ramping up productions, right? That's when you're starting to get more and more Steam Decks getting out to people. It was ridiculous, right? And then before, is like if you reserve, you didn't know when you were going to get yours. So that was because they were dealing with chip shortages, supply shortages, and all that stuff. Because the pandemic brought about a lot of issues. But once they got that cleared up, I'm gonna say this: to an extent, it's true, but it's a half truth. So take it as that. It's easier getting a Steam Deck than it is getting an Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5. Now, the reason I say that's a half truth is because you can go on PlayStation Store, log in, and you can order a PlayStation 5 like that. They have been available for weeks. So people who are still saying they can't get one, if you're on Twitter, follow Wario64 because he's always tweeting about it. Or just go log into your PlayStation account and go, on the browser or on the phone, and go to their website and just order it. But for all intents and purposes, it's amazing to me how in less than a year, Valve has fixed their supply shortages and are able to get these out. They're prioritizing getting these out to customers way more than Microsoft and Sony are with the Xbox and PlayStation. Those consoles have been out nearly 2 years, and they haven't made the best effort to get that to be more available. And it's interesting. Speaking of that, Andre, to add on to that, if you got the Steam Deck, if you were like Q1, Q2, hell, even Q3, there was a lot of bugs and stuff you ran into, a lot of issues that Valve has been busting their asses to get fixed. And I commend them for that. They have been working so hard. Like the level of customer service that you've seen Valve give is almost unlike anything else from any other company. You don't see Nintendo or Sony, PlayStation or Xbox going out of their way to push out updates, speak to people who have the devices, who are trying to let them know about issues. The communication, the line of communication between Valve and the consumer is like this. You don't have that with the other companies. So if there's ever going to be like a Valve versus or Steam Deck versus, in that sense, it makes sense because that is one area where it's true. But anyways, back to the point here. I know a little. I went off on a little tangent. I tend to do that, right? My wife can tell you all about that because she'd be like, "Where are we going with this?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." Let me get back to the point. So my point with saying all that is, you can buy this now. They got rid of the reservation system. You go to buy, you click on buy, and it's like, all right, what you want? You want 64 gig? You want the 256 gig? Or you want the 512? You can get it within 1 to 2 weeks. That is fantastic. Fantastic. Tell me how Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft are trying to compete with that. They're not. This is making them look terrible. So, from what I understand, from people I know who have the 256 gig and the 512, the speed is not really any different. Now, the only person I know that's got the 64 gig is Amy or Gaming Chick. I don't know if she's still here, but she hasn't reported any real issues with speed with what she's been using. So she's content with this one. But as far as like the 512 gig premium anti-glare etched glass, I don't take my Steam Deck. I've had some people ask me like if I would do like a test showcasing. Oh yeah, I want to. I want to buy. I want to buy another one. I've had people ask me if I would test out the anti-glare etched glass when I do my 6-month review, which I'm in the works of doing right now. I don't take my Steam Deck out anywhere. So that's one of the things, like, I don't really go anywhere. That sounds bad. Like, it sounds terrible, but I don't go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, not that I don't want to go anywhere. It's just like I'm a stay-at-home dad, for one. I work full-time from home with content creating. So YouTube, 4 podcasts, journalism, stuff I do with other companies, Q&A, R&D. I don't go so I'm primarily home, right? Usually like weekends, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll go out somewhere. Like I went out today. I went and picked up pizza. Yesterday, I think we went out yesterday. I don't remember if we went out. I think did we? I don't remember. I think we may have. So I live in paradise. I never go outside. Well, okay. Okay. That's okay. Ryu. Let me quantify that. I do occasionally. So I got running shoes. I picked up running shoes because I need to get back on my fitness. Um, I need to slim back down because it's crazy. I was under 200 pounds and I was in shape before COVID and the pandemic. And in the pandemic, I blew past. I blew past 200. 200 was like right here, and I went straight through, straight past it. And I was like, "Yo, bye." You know, so that's how that went. That is how that went. Um, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I live out here in Hawaii. We have a condo that we own here in Waikiki, and I'm literally right next to Waikiki Beach, and I barely ever go. I barely ever go, like ever. And mainly because like Waikiki Beach is primarily for the tourists, and I prefer to go to like Kahala Beach or like West Side or up north, North Shore and such. He's still in shape. He's still around. Hawaii's, yeah. I mean, compared to everywhere else, yeah. I in some aspects, I'd say it's cheaper here than certain aspects of California. But for the most part, it's pretty expensive. But um, between what my wife does for a living and what I do, we're able to, we're thriving. So I can see that. Like we're not struggling in any sense, especially since we moved out. That we had a house, we moved out of that, and now we got this condo. So we're doing a lot better. But gallon like milk is expensive here, like $5 and up. I think most expensive I've ever seen milk, primarily during the pandemic. Milk was like $10, which was insane. But on average, it's like $4 to $5. Outside of that, though, this siren is loud. It's a lot of things. You hear a lot of ambulances go back and forth here, but other than that, it's a lot better. Um, I forgot my original point. Oh yeah, so anti-glare etched glass. So where I went before I went on that whole tangent, I don't go out anywhere. So like, I got a screen protector, and I don't intend to take off that glass screen and go out. And then two, like, I don't, I don't have like an interest in taking my Steam Deck outside of my house. Right? It's kind of like the same thing with my Switch. I've got a Switch Lite and Switch OLED. I don't take either one of those out of the house either. So yeah. Oh, you got friends stationed out here? Yeah, we got several. We got a lot of military branches. So like up north in Kailua, you got was it the Marine Corps bases over there? Got the Navy bases by the airport. On the west side, you got the Army base. I think Kailua is where you got the Air Force base. All over. Yeah, definitely. If anyone comes out here to Hawaii, definitely like take at least a week and soak it all up. Go to some luau's. Stay in the tourist areas. Do not go outside of the tourist areas. If someone tells you go to Cam 4, like Kamehameha 4, which is a highway, They want you to go to Can for, stay the fuck away from it. Don't go there. Hawaii, I love my home. Grew up here. It's some areas don't go to. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh no, Rio, I meant to do that before. I meant to hit you with the mod. Secret Limited says, "Do you have a little garden where you could play the deck for sun rays and play?" Actually, yeah, I have a so behind my setup here. Uh, let's see. Let's see if I can do this. All right, so we got this is the camera focusing on me, and if I lift it a little bit, and if I turn this sucker around, you probably can't see, but I've got a whole lanai, or I've got a balcony. Yeah, y'all can't see it. It's it's too much sun, and this is not trying to let you see it. But I've got a whole balcony, like stretched out that I can go out, put. We got chairs out there too, so I could definitely because the sun rises on this side and it comes over, so I could definitely do it there. But like as far as like going out somewhere, no, I'm not doing that. But I guess I could do that. Now that I think about it, secret, I could definitely do that to showcase uh, the anti glare screen because I got extra glass screens. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe I will do that. But yeah, the fact that there's no more queue and you can just go ahead and buy it, I think that is something that is phenomenal. You know, what model does everyone here in the chat has? Do you guys? I'm trying to figure out what is the most common model. Or did you get like the 64 gig and then put your own M.2 SSD in it? Gabe says I'm new to Steam Deck and GTA 5. I just purchased GTA 5 from the Steam store and did not receive a Rockstar activation code. Does anyone know how I can get that from Steam? I do not know. I'm not certain. As far as that goes, I have Grand Theft Auto 5 on my Xbox Series X and S, and I also have it via uh, Epic Game Store, and they gave it away for free. But I don't have it via Steam. All right, so Gabe and Chrono of Mana have 64 gigs. Ryu has 512. Ruin Black Hack has 512. So it seems like we got a good mix up here. What was the reasoning, I guess, for you guys for the model that you went with, and what are some of the games you're playing and your uses with it? Is anyone using the desktop mode for like productivity or work? What's up, Zero Fanatic? How you doing? Did you get the 512 as well? All right. Secret Limited says I went out with my Steam Deck in the garden when the UK was having a heat wave. I was waiting for my cat to come back. Yeah, I can see my deck screen, no problem in the sun. 256. Okay, you got a 256 gig. Cool, cool. Um, Ryu says he wanted the most memory. So I have been using my Steam Deck. Many of you may know that my laptop and my desktop, as soon as we moved to this condo, which we moved in officially on September 1st. That's when we got out of the house and we moved here. And upon moving here, my gaming laptop, which is the Asus ROG M16, and my gaming desktop, which is a CyberPower. Forget the model, but I've got like a 3080 in it, 3080 Ti. Um, both of them, within one day of each other, died. So I had to take them to get fixed at Geek Squad at the local Best Buy. And the only other computer here was Lehua's MacBook, 12-inch, and she's got a gaming desktop. So there's that. And then I had the Steam Deck. So what I started doing with my Steam Deck, for the sake of productivity, I was like, what all can this do? Because it's got Linux, right? And a lot of Linux, like I'm not sure how familiar a lot of people are with Linux, but you can do a lot of things with Linux. It's a fully featured operating system. And so what I started doing was I started using Office 365 via, like the web browser. So I was going to Edge browser or through Chrome. I was using it to write my reviews. So a lot of the reviews you've seen on my website, if you haven't already, check out mikhailcasanova.com. But a lot of the reviews I've written for my website, a lot of the thumbnails I've created for videos that I've done were actually done on my Steam Deck. So I use for photo editing, you can get software called GIMP or GIMP. It's a free photo editor. You can download it via um, the what's it called, the store. I can't think of the name of it right now. But you can download that for free, and it's a powerful tool. You don't have everything that Photoshop gives you, but you have enough of it to be able to make content. And that's something that I've really enjoyed. So I was able to do all my thumbnails, even for my Steam Deck videos. I was able to do them using that, and it's fairly fast. It's not as intuitive as Photoshop, but you get the hang of it. Dominique Barr, thank you for the sub here on YouTube. Appreciate that. Zero says, "Oh, what's up, Captain Tim? How you doing?" Zero Fanatic says, "I also earned want the most memory since it fill up. Plus, my laptop isn't that powerful." Yep. So the other thing I started doing was I started doing video editing with the Steam Deck. I started using what's called Kden, so KDEN. It's a video editing software. I would say for comparability, for competitive for what is comparable to, I want to say it's like a light DaVinci Resolve or Filmora or Cyberlink. So I was able, some of the videos that you've seen on my YouTube channel within the last month have been done using Kden, edited on my Steam Deck. So if you need to use the Steam Deck for productivity, and I know some people will balk at it saying it's not powerful enough or it's not this, not that. But if it's all you got, it works. You know, and I'm gonna do a whole video because I've got my desktop back. I haven't gotten my laptop back, but I'm gonna do a whole video where I'm gonna showcase my setup, how I got everything set up, and because out there I've got 34-inch ROG 1440p monitor set up with the JSOC dock. I've got my was it the Rocket Mark II, Vulcan Mark II, and I got the Rocket, one of their gaming mice, and I've got a brand new Rocket headset that I can't talk about just yet because it's not been officially announced. But I've got that all set up in the living room, and I can go between gaming and switch over to desktop mode. I can do my video editing. I can write my documents. I can photo edit. I can do spreadsheets and all that stuff. So I use it as a full on computer. There's some workarounds you just have to get used to, but it's fully capable. And that's something I know ETA Prime just put out a video where you can use it as a full computer, but there's not a lot of videos where people are talking about how they use it as a computer because I don't think a lot of people can even consider doing that because most people probably already have like a full on gaming PC. Did Geek Squad tell you what went wrong with my PC and laptops? Okay, so my laptop has been sent out 3 times. This is the third time that it's been sent out, and first time it was the battery needed to be replaced. Second time it was faulty wiring internally, and now this third time the graphics card was disconnected for somehow. I don't know how they did that when they repaired it, but the graphics card was disconnected and the motherboard went bad. So right now they're replacing the entire motherboard and everything else. I think they're pretty much. I don't really think they're replacing it. I think they're giving me a new unit. So as far as the desktop goes, uh, this has been shipped out 4 times. The first problem, power supply unit. Second problem, power supply unit. Third problem was the CPU and the power supply. And fourth time was motherboard, power supply, CPU, and graphics card. So now that I've gotten it back, now it's my graphics card is giving me issues. Um, so at this point, I'm gonna have to take the desktop back. Games revealed. What is up? What's up, James? Glad to see you here in the stream. So you tried the week long deck challenge forever ago, and it was hard. It, you know, it has a lot of caveats, but I mean, if it's all you got, I had to go a month. I literally got this desktop back. Well, I've gotten it back twice, but with the amount of times I've had to take it back and they send it back out, I've officially had this back since last week Wednesday. So I had to go literally a month with just using my Steam Deck as a computer. That I made the most of it. So like my video output was painful. It was so painful. It was painful. Oh my god. Um I felt like and this is kind of going behind the curtain. James, I know you probably you understand this, and anyone else who does content creating on YouTube, you if you are doing videos that are doing well and you're in the algorithm and you take if you're not consistently uploading and you take time off, like when we moved, I was kind of not making videos for almost 3 weeks. It literally nearly killed my channel. And it's been rough trying to get back in the rotation. He says it's not too bad until you had to do things like video. Yeah, that's the one caveat with it. Like I use that Cadence software and it wasn't bad, but it's not going to replace Premiere. Captain Tim, you said, well, I do some Nintendo Switch videos. Tim, I know you've been asking a lot for me to do videos on Nintendo Switch docks. I have one, but as I've told you before, I will get to it when I get to it. It's not a priority for me to cover that right now. I have products that I have to cover, because they've been sent to me. Um, so I get to those. I will get to the Switch dock, which is, I mean, it's nothing special. I have a Switch controller, but I mean, I review tech and games on this channel. So, I've reviewed the PlayStation 5, Slim and the not Slim, but the disc version and digital edition. I've reviewed both of those: the Xbox Series S and X, Nintendo Switch OLED, Nintendo Switch Lite, Nintendo Switch Original, Nintendo Switch V2. I've reviewed several gaming laptops because I'm partnered with Acer and Republica Gamers. Or, yeah, Asus, Acer, Republica Gamers. What's the other one? Predator. So I've covered those. So gaming desktops and laptops. I've covered all that. So I mean, you just have to be on the lookout. Like I don't. I'm not a Switch only channel. So like if you're looking for just Switch stuff, I mean, there's uh countless channels for that. But the Switch is just not the like it's just not, it's not the talk of the town. Like I if I'm being honest, I barely touch my Switch. The only time I touch my Nintendo Switch is for if I have a game to review on it. Which right now the only games I have to review on that are Digimon Survive and Voice of Cards Beast of Burden. BT Maverick, what's up? How you doing? So you want to drop in, and say what's up to my fellow deckmates? Waiting for my Chinese. Happy belated birthday! Hey, thank you, thank you, thank you. I didn't do much for my birthday. Interestingly enough, on my birthday, since it was a Thursday, yeah, we just this is a typical day. I just watched my kids, and wife came home, and then we went to Chili's. That was it. Nothing really too big. He said Nintendo needs to release the next Switch. Next, they do. At this point, they need to release it because okay. Can I be honest, guys? Can I say what I really think of the Nintendo Switch? Can I be honest? Uh, so I love the Switch for the exclusives. So like Fire Emblem Three Houses, Metroid Dread, Mario Odyssey. Yo, James, thank you for the $10. This is happy birthday. I appreciate you, man. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. For those, if you didn't catch the beginning of the podcast, I announced that I will be doing next week. That the next week's show, we will have the one and only games revealed on the show, and we're going to talk about Steam Deck news, his experience with it, YouTube, and so much more. So I'm excited to have him on the show. Been a big fan of his channel for a long while. So excited. And also, if you're looking for information like regarding Steam Deck, then make sure you go follow his channel. Sub to it. I sent you. So make sure you go. Sub to the channel. I'm gonna drop the link again. So make sure you go. Adult dating life. No, that person, you get the Anyways, we get those bots to come in the stream. Yes, adult dating site. Good lord. I'm married. I'm good. Anyways, um, oh man, I'm definitely looking forward to. If I'll say this, so I will go back to the Nintendo Switch rant shortly. So when it comes to like social media, I need to get a little bit better with it because the only thing I use social media for is like if I'm doing a product review or if I'm making a video or a video for YouTube or something like that, a live stream. That's all I use it for. I know that you need to like participate, like in other people's conversations on Twitter and Facebook and such. I don't know about how you guys feel about that, but like for me personally, I just like I guess I'm in my I'm 34 now. So I'm in my mid 30s or early mid 30s. In between having kids, full-time career, wife, I don't really like have that strong desire to like hop on social media and just like be in these long threads and debates and discussions. Like I see people on Twitter losing their minds over stuff all the time, especially when it comes to games or TV shows and stuff like that. And for the most part, I'm just not interested in the conversation. And I feel like it hurts my social media because, the way it's built is to be social. So if you're not social, they don't promote your content unless you pay for it. And I'm not paying Twitter or Facebook or Instagram to promote my content. But yeah, like I just so like a lot of times when I get DMs, like James, when I get your DM, and like when I get DMs from like Bill from the Nerd Nest and others, a lot of times I miss it because like I'm with my kids, particularly my toddler, and so when I catch it, I was like, oh crap, am I too like did I get back to him too late? Because like my toddler, she's about to be 19 months, and she's a handful. My oldest is 9, oh, about to be 10, and then I got an 8-year-old. So it's like, yeah, the social aspect. I know, like my sister, that's also out here. She went the other week. She's like, "Oh, let's go out for drinks. Let's go to the bar." Granted, she's got like 4 kids, and she's older than me, and she wanted to like start drinking and bar hopping. Like I don't drink much. Like I probably have like a beer here and there, maybe some wine, on a special occasion with my wife. Mainly, who I drink with is my wife. I don't want to drink with nobody else. So, like, my sister wanted to go to a bar, and she wanted to start like bar hop. Like we were in our early 20s, and I just don't have the energy for that. She wanted to start at like 8 or 9 o'clock, and then go all the way to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And I don't have the energy for that. Man, I'm tired. Like I feel old. Like 8 o'clock hits, 7 o'clock hits. I'm right. I need naps. I have to take naps during the day. Like, yo, James, games reveal. You understand what I mean? It's hard to juggle it. And then like too, when you're doing YouTube and content creating, you have to like do content within a certain time frame. Like you have to get videos out. Like Steam announces something, or some gaming news if it's within the field that you're covering. Because like I do Steam Deck, I do PC stuff, I do fighting game stuff. You know, you got to put it out when it's still relevant, because if you don't, then it's gonna hurt. It hurts your channel, and then people don't realize hitting record is easy. Not okay. Pardon my French. Not fucking up while you're recording, because I try to do everything in one take. Sometimes it's hard to really do that, and you got to record it. You got to edit out all the mistakes. And when it comes to editing, you got to be quick with editing because you got to edit it, you got to render it, and then you got to upload it. Then you got to wait for YouTube to process it in HD. So you could be 10 minutes behind when news dropped, 20, 30, an hour, maybe two. It's not easy. People think it is. People think content creating is easy. It's not. It's even worse. Like if you're in my position where this is my full-time career, it is worse because you're constantly like I have to report on it. Like something happens, I got to report on it. I get a product in, if it's paid, like in a sense of not the reviews paid, but like if it's a sponsored video, like the one I got for Turtle Beach Rocket that I'm doing, I have to get that out within a certain time frame because it's a sponsored video. It's yeah, people don't understand it, and you want your channel to grow because you want people to come in, you want them to come back, you want you want to get some regulars, you want new eyes, you constantly want new eyes, you want companies to start recognizing you, right? But it's stressful. It's stressful. It's just, I love doing this full time. Oh, dude, for real, chasing news is it's incredibly hard. I love doing this full time because I get to be with my kids. Like I used to do before I started doing content creating full time. Well, actually, no, I was doing content creating full time while I was still working. When I was working in IT, I've been in IT for over a decade. I quit my IT job in 2019, September 4th, 2019. But before that, I was in it for a decade. I was working as a senior systems analyst as well as senior security analyst. And I also did telephony. I was a telephony analyst. So I wore so many different hats and titles at the hospital, big hospital chain out here. And doing that full time, being a family man, trying to maintain a social life. And yo, best adult dating site, get out of here. Get out of here. Get done. Anyway, um, yeah, so like it was stressful then. And then when I went full time, it was more stressful because it's like then you got nobody above you. You got to be on it. You got to make sure you make enough videos. You got to network. You got to build relationships. Make sure you get to cover like games and tech and stuff like that. Understand the YouTube algorithm. Not to stray too far out of it. It's a lot. Understanding SEO, but for as much as I dislike a lot of that, I love being able to be home with my kids. So that's the beauty of it. Outside of all the pain. Okay, so going back to oh wait, Games Reveal says I'm gonna switch for the first party titles. He said, yeah, I have an Odin and Air sitting here waiting for a review. And I know like because you're a programmer and a developer. So like with you, what you're doing is your full time job. Plus, I know you got a family too, and then trying to maintain your website and content. Like unless people are able to peek behind the veil, they don't realize you're doing a lot of work, and that's not easy at all. Like people don't get that. It's not easy. It's not easy, and juggling it, it's difficult. Sometimes you have to, some things just go to a wayside. Like for me, um, real savage. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like like for me, like a lot of my social life, I've just had to give up because people want to go and hang out, and I'm just at a point now where it's like, unless I'm really close to you, I don't hang out, right? Um, and it's not a personal thing. It's just there's only so many hours in the day, you know. And that's just how it is. Anyway, so back to the Nintendo rant. What I wanted to say about that, Nintendo needs to make a new Switch or a new device. They need to go ahead and announce it. And the reason I'm gonna say that is the fact that I did a review about a week ago for Near Automata, the End of Yorha edition, which is just released for the Switch. So it's the last platform they finally came to. And um it's very interesting because I didn't bash the game, but it was the first game I ever reviewed professionally back in 2017. I reviewed it on the Xbox. I originally reviewed it on PlayStation 4. I reviewed it on Steam, and now I'm reviewing it again. I've reviewed it again on the Switch. And if the Switch is all you have, then great. Play it. It's an amazing game, amazing story, amazing experience. But there are better ways to play it. And because I said that the better way to play it portably is a Steam Deck because you get the 60 frames per second, you get a decent amount of battery life, and it just feels better playing at. I don't like playing at 30 frames per second anymore. I've gotten addicted to playing at 60, right? So playing at 30 frames per second versus 60 is my main freaking issue with the Switch. That's my issue. Is like I don't like playing at 30 anymore. That's and not to be elitist, but that's so last gen. Or it's like I want to play at 60. And I'm spoiled now. Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, hell, PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One X, my games on PC, and now Steam Deck. So going back to the Switch is so hard at times for me. Yeah. And that's kind of interesting, Ryu, because like my wife and I, so Lehu and I got married the day the Switch came out. So before we went to our wedding ceremony, me and my brother, we went to go pick up our pre-orders for the Switch. Back when it came out, we had to go, yeah, we were out in the streets. So we were out, we had to go get those. And then when we got those situated, then we had to go get changed and ready for the wedding. And then we had our wedding. We had a beach wedding. So we got married at Ala Moana Beach Park. So that was wild. Games Reveal says it really isn't, but it's fun. Just miss the sleep right now. Dude, I understand. Like I'm on a daily, I'm probably running off of, if not 4 hours of sleep, maybe if I'm lucky I can get 5 hours. But for the most part, um I don't get a lot of sleep because it's like, and on top of that, people think, because I guess because like I review games as well, and I've really had to get selective about what I'm covering. Like right now, I'm reviewing Persona 5 Royal on Steam Deck because I've played the original PlayStation 3 and then on PlayStation 4. and I played the Royal, and it came out in 2020. I'm excited, but at the same time, not to dive back into this 100 plus hour game. I'm at a point now, I don't like long games anymore just because I don't have a lot of time to devote to them. So like if you see me reviewing games now, it's literally I'm so selective. I turned down a lot of indie games, but then now that I've got the Steam Deck, I'll do like a showcase video because I can't really devote the time to it. Like Persona, Near, um, was a Field Chronicle. I'm reviewing God of War when that comes out. Probably gonna get the review go end of the month. So that thing, Star Ocean, Divine Force. So like when it comes to these major titles, I'll devote the time to it, but I also let the companies know I need at minimum 2 weeks so I can devote the time to it. Anything beyond that, I can't I cannot because it's like it's too time consuming. Yeah, man. Like reviewing games, and people think incorrectly that I have all this time to play games. I do not. I really don't. So if I give you a rundown of my day, my toddler wakes up either at 5:30 or 6:30 every single day. I go to sleep typically at 1 o'clock in the morning or 1:30. She gets up at 5:30 or 6:30. My wife goes to work at 7:30. So you gotta, get the breakfast, shower, all that stuff. And I'm with my toddler. Now she's very attention, at that age, she wants attention, but she still wants to go and do what she wants to do. So I gotta watch her. I'm watching her all day. When she takes a nap, I try to write a little bit of a review, try to play a little bit of a game, but she usually naps for like hour and a half to 2 hours, sometimes three if she's really, really tired. And so my wife doesn't get home typically until like 5:30, 6:30. So she gets home, we eat dinner, we watch a little TV because of her. I started watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, Southern Charm, Real Housewives of Dubai, Real Housewives of LA. Don't judge me. But like we watched that. We watched anime together. Um, because something I'm working on right now is I'm working on a Evangelion project. I'm reviewing original series, End of Evangelion, plus the rebuild movies. That's gonna take time. I'm also working on a timeline series or continuation of the timeline series for Ease that I started like 3 years ago. Um, so by the time, okay, getting back to my point, by the time my wife is done, she gets home and we're done eating, spending time together, spending time with our kids, all that. Everybody's ready for bed. It's usually like 9 o'clock, 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock. So from 9:30 to 10 to 1 to 1:30, that's the time I have to work on content. And I have to be quiet. I can't be too loud because I don't want to wake them up. So yeah, I don't have a lot of, like I just don't like I don't have a lot of time. Weekends are usually better because like I've got more time, more availability to work on stuff, and I usually try to do stuff on the weekend. But that's kind of where I'm at, and juggling that. So like when my sister and other people want to go to a bar and drink. Okay, I'll say this much: we're still in the pandemic. I do not want to go out to be in a group of people during this pandemic. I have not gotten, you know, the Rona. My wife hasn't got it. My kids have not gotten it. I do not want to chance that. And I don't like large groups of people anyway. So, and it's kind of interesting because all the people I know, like in the gaming industry and tech industry and content creators that have gone to like TwitchCon and gone to Comic Cons and all these events, they come back and they got COVID. And I'm just not willing. I don't do well getting sick. And I'm just not willing to. Okay, Gabe, don't call me out. I watched Real Housewives of Atlanta because of Kenya. Kenya, she is fine. Love it. Don't call me out. But but yeah, I just and the other thing too, like outside of not wanting to go out in crowded places, I'm at a point now where I just enjoy spending time with my family. I'm content now. Like I don't have the need to go out and do stuff. Like my 20s, my late teens, my 20s, yeah, I was out. I was partying, working, going to school and all that, but now I don't have that desire. I don't have that desire at all. Um you say yeah, time with those that matters important. It is. Um I think also too, as many of you may know, many of you may not know this, but like I'm 5 years in remission from cancer. So stage 2 colorectal cancer. Almost went to stage 3. And so which is why I'm bald. And I used to have a lot of hair on my head. Used to have just interesting. I'm a bold I'm a bald Hawaiian Samoan Dominican black guy. But yeah, I used to have a lot of hair. And 5 years in remission, going through that battle, fluctuating health and radiation and all that stuff. And it's like when you get told that you have cancer and you're told you may not make it and that you should probably prep yourself and those around you that you won't be around, it changes your perspective on a lot of things. Um, it definitely did for me, and not only did it change my perspective, but like I said, I'm 5 years in remission now, so I beat it, and that I'm still here, right? So still being here, um, really for me has put a lot of things in perspective. So that's why like my focus is really on my family. you know, like that's my family and those that are important. So that's why like when I see a lot of the outrage of game stuff on social media or other stuff, does it affect me directly? And if not, I just don't focus on it. Is that the way I should be? Maybe, maybe not, but it's what works for me. So that's why I'm the way I am. Yeah, I that's why like it's important if you got with your loved ones, 'cause you never know. Like my dad and my dad went through the colorectal cancer, same cancer I had, stage 2, twice. Well, yeah, he went to it twice. First time stage 2, second time stage 3. Beat it both times. One of my older brothers, Devin, he got it as well. So it runs in the family, and he had stage 3, and he beat it, and then I got it. Um, but I took it the worst. So the expectation is I was not going to live, but I lived. So I cheated death, and so since I'm still here, I focus on what's important. So like I like games, I like tech, I like my family. I love my family. I like hanging out with you all, doing what we do. So like being upset all the time, I just ain't got time for it. I mute a lot of things on social media. Oh, I was getting a little choked up there talking about that. That's sentimentality. You guys didn't come here for that. Y'all came here to talk about Steam Deck. But I appreciate you guys being here. I have been blessed to be able to do a lot of things I've been able to do. Because, okay, so when I say change perspective, I had a bucket list, and I've almost completed everything on my bucket list. And content creating was one of the things on my bucket list. I was like, God damn it, if I'm gonna die, let me do everything I want to do. And I've been able to do this and turn this into a career. And it's crazy because I never would have thought I could do it. And I just want to say, if there's anything in life you want to do, don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. And if they tell you you can't do something or you won't succeed, I'm going to tell you to tell them this. Fuck them. Just because they won't try or they won't do does not mean you can't do it. Believe in yourself to go after what you want to do. And don't let anyone take take your dreams and your happiness from you. Because people try to do that all the time. Don't let it. Don't let them. Hey man, like I said, I'm happy to have you all here. So Ryu, Gabe, Games Reveal, Omar, everyone here, Zero. I'm glad to have you all here. So I'm glad. We went down this whole conversation. I apologize for getting all sentimental. I was supposed to be on that Nintendo rant. But anyway, as far as the Nintendo rant, and then we'll hop over to the last couple of things, and then we'll give this a wrap. Um, so Nintendo. So when I did the review, I talked about the performance and everything with the version on Switch and everything like that. Um, Nintendo needs to make a more powerful console that can at least do 60 frames per second. It needs to happen. Now, I'm not gonna dive into the whole Steam Deck is a Switch killer. All this is a Switch killer. This is a Steam Deck killer. All that. I don't care about all that. Doesn't matter to me. What does matter is being able to play a game optimally. And a lot of comments I got on that video where I reviewed Nier Automata was people saying that this proves that the Switch can do more powerful games. That does not prove, just because Nier Automata is running on the Switch does not mean that the Switch can play more powerful games. Nier Automata came out 6 years ago. So it's not. Do you know what I mean? Like that doesn't prove a point. If the Switch could play Cyberpunk 2077, you have a point for that argument. If it could play Tomb Raider, what is it? Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, you'd have a point. It can't play those games. And what it can do, it plays via either really downsample, like we got Doom and Doom Eternal, playing them on the Switch or playing them on the Steam Deck or PC or consoles, like just PlayStation, Xbox, is a vastly different experience. It's vastly different. And that's not a knock at the Switch. As I said, if that's the only thing you have, then yes, play it, get it on there. But when you have options, why limit yourself? Why? I don't understand that. Like it's it's just a thing where it's like I don't. Then when you see games like Control, Resident Evil 2, 3, and 2, 3, 5, not 5, 2, 3, 7, and 8 are cloud versions. You got a lot of games that are cloud. The only game that's on Switch that is a cloud that doesn't make sense is Kingdom Hearts. Now, I can understand Kingdom Hearts 3 to an extent. To an extent, I can understand. I don't understand why Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 collections, why can't those run natively on the Switch? That's laziness on Square Enix. I don't get it. It's a Doom Eternal runs well enough on this. It does. It's fine. It's well optimized. It's just my thing is like once you just play that on something else, it's like, mm, and that's just the point I've gotten to when it comes to the Switch. Is like it's such a I think some folks are gonna hate me for saying this, but I'm gonna say it because hell, I do feel this way. Sometimes playing games on the Switch versus other consoles can feel like playing an arcade game in the 80s and 90s and playing the NES or SNES port or Genesis port. It's not always the same experience. I don't know how many people are old enough to get that reference, but that's how I feel about it. Ryu says, "Is it safe to say that the M Classic is a must-have for the Switch at this point?" It is. It really is. M Classic is definitely something I would say is necessary for the Switch, especially if you're playing on a 4K TV. That a lot of that stuff just doesn't, to me personally, look that great. Like that's one of the things. Like with Near Automata on Switch, it was glaring how like different that looked. So that's just where I am. Some could say I'm a graphics elitist. I'm not really, but like we're at a point the what is the chip that's on the Switch? It's the Tegra X, the Tegra X1 chip. That chip was already outdated when the Switch came out, and here we are 6 later. It's time for something else. Now I don't think the Switch successor is going to go AMD. I think they're going to stick with Nvidia, but it's time for something new. But I think Nintendo is going to ride the Switch out for at least another 4 years, with them announcing a new system within the next 2.5. Um, I think the last thing I want to talk about. So, last thing I want to talk about is the I guess we can do two more topics. If it depends if you guys feel like doing two more topics. So Ryu says Nintendo should make a dedicated dock that supports DLSS. You know they should, but you know they're not going to. You know they're not. They should though. Games Reveal says, I think there's strong enough rumors to say that Nintendo is working with Nvidia on the next chip. Yeah, they have. I feel like they have. They have a deal with them, right? Because I mean, I do think an AMD chip would do better for what they're trying to do. I think it's especially for battery life and such. But I don't know. I strongly think, and also going along with the rumors, that yeah, they're gonna stick with Nvidia. That's just where it's gonna stay. But I believe personally that the architecture of the Steam Deck should inspire Nintendo to follow suit with how they're going to build their next platform. Because you can have power and performance with having portability. And I think the Steam Deck has shown that. And especially if they can put like the OLED battery in it, I think it would be good. I would love to have an OLED screen. I don't know if we're gonna get. I don't know what the odds are of us getting an OLED screen for the Steam Deck because that's gonna burn through more battery. You think they had to stick to Nvidia? No, yeah, and yeah, you're right. The Tegra chips are better. They're awesome for battery. But yeah, I personally just think that the Steam Deck can be the blueprint for whatever they're gonna do next. Um, but as y'all know, Nintendo does what Nintendo does, right? They always have, they always will. I personally would like a micro LED screen, but OLED I can't knock. It's when you've seen an OLED screen, especially the OLED Switch, it is such a beautiful thing. You said burn through more screens. Yeah, that's if they can address the burn-in issue, I think that's one thing. But yeah, does Nintendo need to move on from the Switch yet? Um, from a financial standpoint, no, they don't. They can run the Switch for another 4 years before it gets long in the tooth. I just hope because Nintendo has never been that great at making a more successful console than the previous, which is the NES or the original Nintendo was phenomenal. The Super Nintendo exceeded expectations. That was the one time they were able to do it. Let's talk about everything Nintendo's failed with. Virtual Boy was a failure. 64, a profitable failure. The GameCube, a failure. The Wii, exceptional. People still have them in their houses. The Wii was probably their most successful console. The Wii U, absolute flop. And that's their fault too. The architecture, the branding, the promotion, that was Nintendo's fault. Um yeah, I don't and then we have the Switch, which the Switch has it's on track. I feel like the Switch is going to outsell the PlayStation 2. So no, I mean 4 more years, then they're gonna have to announce something new. They're gonna have to put something new out. I mean, The GameCube did better than the 64, but it was still a failure. It was the worst selling platform of that generation. Um, Games review, you say I want OLED. It says smaller screens don't really burn in it these days. Well, yeah, it's not like the when we had the what's it the Vita. I have my Vita OLED, which as you can see all this dust on it. It is not. It's not gotten any love lately, but I still have my Vita. It's got some slight burn in, but it's not terrible. Um, God, I'm so angry at Sony for that. How quickly they ditched the Vita. So ahead of its time. Nintendo's making a big mistake. Not they are. So okay, this is not. This is stuff that I when I talk to developers, right? The problem for a lot of them is when they want to get their games on as many platforms as possible. Square Enix does, right? Ubisoft does. When it comes to when they have to make these compromises or just not put their title on the Switch because it's just not capable of running it, and they're looking at it like, damn, the Switch has all this market with all these limitations that it can't we can't get this running on it, or it's not going to be the same experience, or we have to do a cloud version and then people are going to lose their minds over it. And you have people that have the counter argument, like the folks with Near on the Switch. It's like, yeah, but then that game came out 5, 6 years after the fact. If they can get it to work day and day, cool. Street Fighter 6 is not going to run on the Switch. And that's a big, and that's something that beta is going right now. Which after this podcast, I'm actually gonna be streaming that because I need to get more footage for it. But I'm gonna stream it. Um, and it runs fine on the Steam Deck, but it's a shame that's not gonna be able to come to the Switch. Let's see. Yeah, Nintendo's still making a killing off the Switch. So curious if I'll get P5 Royal one on Steam Deck or the Switch. Same for Crisis Core. Um, I'm gonna physically buy a copy of Persona 5 Royal for a Switch. And the reason I'm saying a lot of games that do come to Switch, I buy a physical copy of them because they're gonna become rare. Like as an example, I have two physical copies sealed for Bayonetta. These are gonna become very rare. For Bayonetta 1, it just released a couple days a week ago. These are gonna become very rare. You can't walk into a store and get Bayonetta 2 for Switch anymore. They go for over $80 now. And I don't understand why Switch games are getting like such limited prints, especially first party Nintendo games. It's just very strange to me. So these are two copies I'm probably never going to open because I own them digitally, but I'm adding to my collection. So one for me, one for Lego because we get double of everything since she's a gamer too. So it said if Nintendo makes a Switch 2, it better be backward compatible. It would be a massive mistake. Hopefully, if they do like they did with the Wii to the GameCube, it would make a lot of sense. They don't need to kill any support for the Switch, and they need to if they're going to market it with the Switch in the title. They need to make sure people understand that it is a different platform and it is not the same. That's what they didn't do with the Wii U because people didn't even know. People looked at the gamepad of Wii U and they thought that was just an accessory for the Wii. Nintendo shot themselves in the foot. Though. So I think the next Switch will probably drop on the day the next Zelda comes out. I mean, maybe, maybe. And Zero says, I just played my Vita after so long the other day. I had so much dust on it. Yeah, mine's just, it's gotten no love. It's gotten none. Gabe says, do you really think they are making a mistake? Don't you think the market is somewhat saturated right now? How many different devices are out or have been released within the last 2 years? Within the mainstream, as far as the mainstream market for gaming, the Xbox Series S and X and the PlayStation 5. Nintendo has dropped what? Switch Lite, Switch V2, which they didn't even say it was V2, but it was a V2 because they got the better battery life. Switch OLED. They've had many opportunities. Like the Switch, personally, the Switch OLED should have been a like a beefier Switch. There's the only thing I can think of is one of the things like Bill from Nerd Nest said, and I agree with it, is that probably due to the chip shortage, the Switch OLED was probably meant to be the successor, and they just or the upgrade, the actual upgrade. As far as other handhelds don't really factor in. When you're looking at, from a mainstream market, is what I'm looking at. Because casuals, and y'all can disagree with me, but casuals don't look at if it's not something that's constantly promoted or the big YouTubers are talking about, they don't really know about it. How many like if you were to talk to someone, walk in the store, ask them about Pioneer Air or AOK Zoe or GPD Win or Win GPD, how many of them are actually going to know about that? They know Switch, they know PlayStation 5 and 4, they know the Xbox. Those are the mainstream. These other devices they don't know because they're not mainstream. That's where that is. You look at how many devices Aya Neo is pumping out. You know, but I do want that. I want that Air because like I'm not gonna lie, that Air looks sexy. You say yeah, they would lose ground the longer they wait on the Switch 2 Pro. They will, and people are going to get to a point where they're gonna look at this, and if okay, so if the next Switch or next Nintendo platform comes out, and if it's not at least on the level performance wise, as a Steam Deck or PlayStation 4 Pro or Xbox One X or the Xbox Series S, they're gonna get eaten alive. Speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up, James. So 1 million decks shipped. You guys know how many people were expecting the deck to fail? And how like not only did it succeed and thrive, but now it's in the Asian market, which Japan's, South Korea, China, that's massive. That's massive. that's gonna do so well. And they've already teased Genshin Impact at Tokyo Game Show 2022. Like, that's astronomical that it's over there, that it's doing that well. And even before getting there, hitting that million in less than a year. And if we put it in perspective, what, from February to September, technically, what, less than 7 months for a mill? And now, as we showed you earlier, you could just buy it now. And Valve has already said the Steam Deck is here to stay. They're going to be making more iterations. This is the first one. They're going to make more. So it's and that right there that's huge. That's huge. They have done so well with the Steam Deck. And it's so funny, like the content creators that I see on my Twitter, like Dreamcast guy, and what's the other one? Wolfden. I know Wolfden was not a believer in the Steam Deck at all. Him and many others. I don't follow these guys on Twitter. Um, but him and a lot of the others, they really expected the Steam Deck to fail, and it didn't. And it's funny because I saw a tweet because someone who follows me and I follow, they shared Dreamcast guy's tweet. So he's getting his Steam Deck. And it's crazy. So many people are hopping on the Steam Deck. And I kind of want to know, and this is not throwing shade or anything like that. But have you guys noticed that it was people like Games Reveal, me, Bill from the Nerd Nest, Fan the Deck, On Deck, Deck Ready, and High Tech Low Life, was it Brian some Gardner, I forgot the other guy's name. There's retro kind of retro game core. Yeah, I throw him in there too. And ETA Prime and some others. We've been the ones that have been covering Steam Deck from the initial announcement all the way till now. A lot of these other people, Dreamcast guy, Wolfden, Woodhawker, uh what was it, Lamar something? Can't think of his name. Lamar Wilson. You're seeing a lot of people hop on now making Steam Deck videos. I'll say it. They're doing it for views. It's the trending topic. But they're not, a lot of these people, and again, this is not shade. I'm just speaking frankly. They're not adding anything to the conversation. They're not doing what those of us that I listed earlier are doing. We're making tutorials. We're showing all you can do with it. We're showing the accessories, ways to use it, all this stuff before any of these big name people even decided. They kind of looked at it in bulk. We have been covering it. I take pride in that. But a lot of people, a lot of these bigger creators who have been doing the same song and dance and shtick, they've been noticing their video views have been going down, and they started doing Steam Deck. If I'm wrong, correct me. I see it. He said, "I think they just said that for you." It's just something I see. It's something I see. I see a lot of it. and the SEO right now is Steam Deck. If you're in the gaming sphere, it's not Nintendo Switch. You know, it was Nintendo Switch 2016, 2017, 2018 was Nintendo Switch. It's not that anymore. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, the first year that those are out. More technically, the first 4 to 6 months. But the Steam Deck, that's the SEO. Because people are trying to figure out how do they operate the Steam Deck? How do they do this? How do they do that? In Sabanur says Nintendo rests on the first party titles versus having more capable hardware. That's why they released OLED instead of the Pro that they should have. True. He said a lot of people are just now receiving their decks as well. No, that's true. That is true. A lot of people are just receiving their decks, but there's a certain. So Valve did prioritize a lot of the bigger creators. There's a lot of bigger creators that did get the Steam Deck sent to them for review. That Valve reached out to, and if you had the Steam Deck when it first came out to a little bit of Q2, it was an interesting experience, right? It wasn't the greatest. It's not where it's at now. But the SEO now is SEO, a search engine optimization for YouTube, is Steam Deck. So you're seeing a lot of folks that are covering it now. That's what that's the point I'm getting to. And a lot of people who have been doing certain content, they're switching up. Even like Metal Jesus, who doesn't really cover modern gaming, has done 2 videos on Steam Deck, right? Your average consumer only recently did his video on Steam Deck. So, and you see the viewership of Steam Deck videos versus other stuff that they're doing. Even Mr. Matty Plays has done a Steam Deck video, and that did way better than all his other content. So it's the SEO, and a lot of people are starting to see hop on it. I'm not saying that's a negative thing. I'm saying a lot of what I'm seeing is not adding to the conversation. It's not doing anything different. It's what has probably been said 6 months ago, 7 months ago. But a lot of people are doing it for views. Nothing wrong with that. If you got a Steam Deck and you can do a video, do it. But that's just my thoughts on it. Fredo says, had the deck for 2 weeks so far. I usually play Wind Waker HD, Risk of Rain 2, and Vagante. So far, it's been great, but also highlights benefits of something like Switch consistency. Consistency. True. He said, "You're not wrong, but it's also not surprising either." Yeah, that's just I see the trend because if you think about it, the same thing happened with the Switch. You know, and so I see it. I'm not knocking anybody for it. I just like I see it for what it is. Orlando D says I've been dealing with lots of issues, but I still like it better than Switch. What have you been running into? Fredo says gotta do SSD swap and take FF7R and try FF7R. One of the main reasons I got the deck, but my PC is pretty good, but FF7R plays a crap on it. Somehow on deck, I see much more consistent performance. Yeah, that game is amazing on the Steam Deck. That is an amazing title on the Steam Deck. So that's what a lot of creators on YouTube do, just posting videos reviews. Yeah, and again, like I'm not knocking people for it. Like if it's your full time career, you kind of need to do stuff for viewership because of ad revenue or sponsorships and such like that. So that's why I said like I'm not knocking anyone for it. I noticed the trend for what it is. So I see it. but I also see a lot of these same folks that are doing, the bigger channels that are doing videos for it were the same ones that were effectively saying that it was gonna die on launch. It was gonna be dead on arrival. And for the months that have gone by this year, have either consistently shat on it or no, they just have. And then now it's like, now I want it. Like even Wolfden had to do a video where he said that too. So, like he his initial video he shat on it and then he turned around and he liked it. So it's like, it's just something you see. Like I see the trend, and being in this YouTube game as long as I have, I've been in it since 2016 ish. I've seen the channels that blew up because back when I started within the circle that I was in, it was me, uh, Player Essence, RGT85, Spawn Wave, 8-Bit Eric, Dreamcast Guy. Like we were all around the same area, all in the same group. Doctor 81. But then folks cover the Switch. A lot, and as you see now, a lot of those they're the big names. And right now, the Steam Deck is the second wave of that. It's the second opportunity for people to blow up. Says, but I do understand what you're saying. Yep. Orlando D says battery won't fully charge, stops at 91%. Have to manually format the SD card so games download faster and those appreciator caches on 64 gigabyte. Oh yeah. Have have you considered RMAing it or sending it back to Valve to get it fixed? Anyway, last thing I want to talk about before we go, I know we're a little over 2 hours. Last thing I want to talk about is Street Fighter 6. So, like I said, I'm going to be doing a live stream after this of it on the Steam Deck, and I'm also going to be capturing footage for it because I'm going to be doing like a beta review, specifically focusing on the performance of it on Steam Deck. I'm amazed at how well it runs on Steam Deck, how good it looks. I'm not sure how many of you guys are able to get into the beta, but I will say I'm part of the Capcom Creator Program, so I kind of guaranteed had a code for it, our beta code, and I could have played it on PlayStation, I could have played it on Xbox. I just wanted it on PC so I could play it on Steam Deck. And it was interesting because um, it wouldn't launch initially on Steam Deck at all. It just wouldn't launch. And then when I tried different Protons, still couldn't get it to launch. And then they put a patch through, which was a Proton hotfix. They put that through the day the beta went live, or within the hour the beta went live, but then it still wouldn't launch in the Steam Deck. And then what they did from there was it got another patch the following day, and then they've just been they've quickly been patching and patching and patching to get this running on Steam Deck, and it runs. You get when you're roaming about the arcade arena in Street Fighter 6, it fluctuates is a variable frame rate from 30 to 40 ish, maybe 50. But once you get into the matches, practice mode matches, 60 frames per second. It's only choppy, typically if someone's got bad connection. But I played it on Wi-Fi because I've got a 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz wireless signal, and I've got 500 megs. I played it on Wi-Fi, ran buttery smooth. Played it connected via the the deck's dock. Ran smooth, 60 frames. Feels really good portably, and I think that's the primary platform I'm going to be playing it on is PC and Steam Deck because I want to be able to play this. Playing it on my when I was playing it on my PC, I was pushing my 3080 Ti to the max. That game 4K in practice mode, I pushed it to 120 frames 4K, beautiful. With HDR on, it looked amazing. And then when you get in matches, it scales down to like 60 frames. But yeah, it's good. But when you're playing it on Steam Deck, 720p, 60 frames per second. So I'm gonna be happy when that comes out. I'm gonna have a good rotation of fighting games to play on my Steam Deck because you guys know I love fighting games. So, and I'm gonna have Street Fighter 6. I can get that trash ass Street Fighter 5 off my Steam Deck because I'm tired of that damn game. Except for Cody, that's my main character on Street Fighter 5. But yeah, getting off. I'm at Street Fighter 6, KOF 15, Sam Show. I got Samurai Showdown on it. Guilty Gear Strive. I'm eating good. That's all I can say is I'm eating good right now as far as fighting games, especially how well they run on Steam Deck. All right, let me answer some of the last couple questions. If you enjoyed the time so far and you haven't hit like, make sure you hit the like button. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. So last, if you guys have any last questions before we end the stream, for this podcast, go ahead and throw them in. So RGB Velcro Shoe says Doc worth buying. Which one? Official Doc or the J Socks? I will say yes to both, but because I don't think everyone needs the official Valve dock as far as like because it comes to the power brick. I don't think you need it. At the same time, it updates, firmware for it updates when you connect to Steam Deck and you do the update. So you don't have to worry about utilizing Windows PC to update like you will the Ivalion and the JSOX. It's made out of plastic instead of aluminum or magnesium aluminum. So it's another downside, plastic and heat. It's not a good combination. No, it doesn't seem like there's any ventilation, but I won't fully know until I get mine in. Mine will be coming in on Tuesday. If not tomorrow, it might get an early delivery tomorrow, but it will be coming in guaranteed no later than Tuesday. So when it comes in, I'm either going to do a live stream, thoughts and impressions on it, test it out for you guys here, or I might do a pre-record. I don't know. It kind of depends when it comes in, and if my wife's home. If she's home, I can do the live stream. If she's not, I don't think I can do it with my toddler here. So, or just me and my toddler. All that being said, I think a dock. If you don't need a dock, then you're fine with just like a one of these, a USB-C hub. You'd be fine with it. Fredo, so you got 64K2, got SSD, eBay, $20. Haven't put it in yet. You should look into it. Other issues, reach out to Caven. Yes, reach out to Lord Gaben, definitely. Do you believe the Steam Deck is meant for only one type of gamer? Can a casual gamer enjoy the Steam? Of course. Steam Deck is for everyone, in my opinion. I think everyone is capable for it. I know some people have said like the user interface and whatnot is not easy to maneuver, but I think if you can maneuver across Xboxes all over the place UI, you can deal with the Steam Deck's UI. I don't have any issue with it. I think it's for anyone, casual or more hardcore gamer or tinkerer. It's a device for everyone. But they're not marketing it to everyone. I'll say that much. But anyone can enjoy it. Squad Twin says, my man has the entire FGC on his Steam Deck. Tekken 7, I have Tekken 7 and Soul Calibur 6 as well. And Mortal Kombat 11. And Melty Blood. And Under Night in Birth, and the entire Blasphemous series. So yes, I got the entire I got the entire FGC. The only thing I need to get um when the AEW game comes out because I want to play that, especially since it's like No Mercy. And I need to get WWE 2K22 on it. I need to get part of that Next Maker program. Let's see. He said Gabe. It's the easiest simulation setup I've ever done. Yeah, super easy. Deck, super duper duper easy. Real question is, when are we co-op playing together? What are we playing? What are we playing? I'll say this: if anyone wants to, I do have a Discord. Y'all can hop in. We got people in there who got Steam decks. So if you want to hop in, chop it up, talk Steam Deck, talk gaming, talk anime, anything like that, go ahead. Feel free to hop into Discord. I'm not always around in it. I'll say that much, but we got some active folks. A lot, especially a lot of people that like Genshin Impact. So that's always talked about. I just want to say being able to carry CVS2 on the go. CVS2, I put the PlayStation 3 version of MVC1 and MVC2 on the Steam Deck. So, I get the widescreen benefit. Having that plus CVS2, CVS1, uh, Rival Schools, Project Justice, Tech Romancer. I got the Capcom Fighting Collection, so I've got all the Dark Stalkers titles, and I've got No Mercy for my retro wrestling, and SmackDown Here Comes Pain via PS2 emulation. I'm eating good. And I got my horror titles, so I got Silent Hill 1 through 4 plus Origins. I've got majority of the Metal Gear collection. I've got all the Mega Man series on there, and I've got for my RPGs all the Suikoden titles. I've got Grandia 1 and 2. I've got Skies of Arcadia. I got the Baden Kaito series. I'm eating good. Eating good. Plus all the indies coming out. Eating good. You said bro under night. Yep. Got under night. Gaming Check says Steam Deck UI is fine. It is, and it's kind of interesting. A lot of people say it's kind of confusing to figure out. I don't think it is. I think it's fine. I think the Steam Deck UI is a lot easier to maneuver around than the Xbox One is, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Steam Deck is for anyone. If you're a gamer or if you're casual, you're looking for something new, I think you'll get a lot out of the Steam Deck, a lot of longevity overall. But yeah, AEW is getting a game. Um, the AEW Fight Forever is supposed to be coming out sometime next year. They showed it off at correct me if I'm wrong, Amy. It was Tokyo Game Show, I believe, right? They showed AEW Fight Forever, and it's made by Ukes, so it's close. It's more like it plays like No Mercy. It's not going to be like a simulation like the 2K series, but it's going to be straight up No Mercy style, a modern No Mercy. He said, I like how Mikael just described my Steam Deck installed library, FGC Indies, RPGs emulation. Oh, I got my tactical stuff too. I got Final Fantasy Tactics, War of the Lions. I've got Tactics Ogre, all the Tactics Ogre Battle 64. What else do I have? I got Diofield Chronicle, which is my current favorite right now. I can't wait for Valkyrie uh Elysium to come on it. got some indie action games coming out that are really good. I know there's another game, Bang on Balls, that's pretty good. Actually, Game and Chick, who's here in the chat, she's featured. She's got a featured skin in it too, in that game. So that's pretty cool. Have I dabbled in modifying my SARP animation yet on deck? No, I haven't. I haven't really. When that was becoming a thing, I kind of figured Valve was going to hop on it because they tend to, they want you to tinker with that device. And so when they made the update to make it easier, no, I haven't. I probably will do a video on it. And I know Games Revealed has a whole video tutorial on that, and I think he's working on an updated one too. So yep, he was showing off recently. It has promise. Hopefully, it all pans out. Yeah, well, I know you're guaranteed getting a review copy. I hope, my fingers are crossed, I get to cover it too. I'm trying to get on your level, Amy. But no, like that's definitely, that game has a lot of promise. Especially like I miss the No Mercy style of games, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. But outside of that, if anyone has anything else, any other question, drop them. If not, then we can go ahead. We can wrap this up. So again, going quick rundown of the topics we covered. We talked about no more reservations. You can just go ahead and buy your Steam Deck now. We talked about the official Steam Deck dock versus the competitors, the pros and cons of both. We talked about the JSOX making another dock, which I called it every month and a half to 2 months they make a new dock, and they do. It's not a bad thing, but goddamn, y'all need to make it so it's easier to get to people quicker. But other than that, yeah, we talked about that. We talked about Switch, my issues with playing, well, my loves and dislikes of playing Switch titles now, why they should update the Switch and they should market it better. I don't want another Wii U fiasco. Yeah, people are definitely going to say that. Like they're saying, oh, you can't get a PlayStation 5. You've been able to get a PlayStation 5 before. Technically, I want to say months because it's always available on the PlayStation website. You can order it directly through PlayStation Direct. It's always available, but people want to go in the store and buy it, and that's just not a thing. What else did we talk about? We talked about a couple other things. Talked about Street Fighter 6. Talked about we got the collaboration. Well, not correct. Well, technically a collaboration, but yeah, we got several guests coming to the podcast for this show, Decked Up. So next week's show, we're gonna have Games Revealed on, which I'm very excited to have him on. Big fan of his content. Like I said, check him out if you haven't already. The following week, we're gonna have. No. I'm saying like Switch successor. Like when they go to like the next like Switch device. That's what I'm saying. I hope that is not a Wii U situation. I do not want to see that happening. I don't think they will, but I would not like to. I would not want Nintendo to do that again because the Wii was such a hit and they screwed up with the Wii U, and that was on them. That was on them because it's an amazing console, amazing library, and it just, which is funny. You see all these so-called Nintendo fans when the Switch came around, and Amy, you and I had talked about this a lot. Yeah, we talked about this a lot. A lot of people who are Nintendo fans never had a Nintendo console to the Switch. They shit all over the Nintendo Wii U and never played it. And then they were complaining when Wii U titles were getting ported to the Switch. Like, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Come on. Oh yeah, place Sony has been staying arrogant 3 generations straight now. PS3, PS3, they were super arrogant coming out the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4. They didn't try anything risky. They played it entirely safe. PlayStation 5, they haven't really given you a reason to own it other than like faster speeds and such like that. Yeah. You said, are they nostalgic for a console they never supported or played and rag on modern? And yeah, they do. All the Switch channels that popped up and never played a Switch title. I never played a Nintendo title. Complaining, it's so funny, especially the folks that complain about Switch Online and never played a Super Nintendo, NES, or anything from that era, but they're very critical of it. It's funny. The hypocrisy is real. It's very real. That's the part that's hilarious to me. Um, what else did we talk about? Oh yeah, as I was saying, yeah. So next week we're gonna have games reveal. So James, aka the Brink of Games Reveal, on the show. We're gonna do a live stream show, so you guys can come through with your questions. We're gonna have a chat. Hopefully, we can go like an hour or two, depending on his schedule. So we'll go from that. So I'll be making a thumbnail promoting it this week. The following week, I will have on the show. So we're gonna do on the 23rd. I will have um, High Tech Low Life. He makes a lot of um, Steam Deck related content. So I'm going to have him on the show. Fan the Deck. I'm going to have them on the show at some point. I know they currently just caught COVID, so they're going to be they're kind of recovering right now. So hopefully within the next month or so, I'm going to push it out to a month because I don't want to rush anyone back recovering from it. Um. Oh, you should be good for. Okay, cool, cool. I did not I did not realize that was your other account. I was like, wait, what? I'm realizing like James Brinker. I was like, why is that seem familiar? So yeah, so I got that. So yeah, so fan the deck, couple weeks, so a month. Um, I know Bill from Games Reveal. Oh, not Games Reveal. Bill from Games with Bill wants, aka the Nerd Nest. I know he's gonna probably come back on again. Um, my friend Juan Bagnell from he's some gadget guy. That's his YouTube channel and name. So he's gonna be coming on the show in the holidays, and then I've got um I'm trying to think of the other guy's name. I can't think of it. He's a big tech YouTuber. He wants to come on too. And Michael Fisher, I know Michael Fisher is down. So we're Mr. Mobile, aka Mr. Mobile. Yeah, I'm down to do a roundtable. I'm definitely down to do a roundtable. It's just one of those things where I just need to make sure I can catch what you guys is like schedules. So I'd love to have like you, Bill, Fan the Deck, High Tech Low Life. I'm trying to get Deck Ready on, but I don't know how to reach out to them. So I mean, if it happens, cool. If not, I would love to do it. Um, so yeah, that's for this podcast. For the other podcasts, my main show, the Casanova podcast, I just put up earlier this week or earlier last week the interview I did with Ashley Edward Miller, who created and wrote Dota Dragon's Blood on Netflix. So we talked for like a good 2 hours. Lehu and I, we talked to him, talked about the creative process, working with Netflix, working with the voice actors, Um, we did a whole deep dive. I'm gonna publish the audio version of that podcast later on today. I'll be publishing that because the video version's out. I think I'll publish that probably in a few hours. I'll say. Um, I want to do some channel shout outs. Channels I think you should check out. And I'm gonna start dropping links. First channel I want to sit a round table with everyone in black cloaks with their Steam decks out. Speaking of that, first person I want to shout out you guys should check out is my truly my best friend, Gaming Chick, aka Amy. Go check her out, her YouTube channel. She reviews games, reviews tech. She does full game playthroughs. One of the hardest working content creators I know. I'm so proud of her. Her growth has been amazing. She's on track. She's going to hit 20,000 before this year is over. And she's worked with everyone from Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, Capcom, Bandai Namco. It's been amazing. Well, Mac, how you been? How you doing? But yeah, Amanda has been truly amazing, truly inspiring. So check out her content if you haven't already. Um, Next channel I want to give a shout out to is Lehula Superfina, aka my that's my wife. She's making Steam Deck content. She also reviews anime and manga, and she also interviews voice actors. So people in the industry as well. So if you're interested in that, definitely go give her channel a sub, check out her channel and her content. And again, I'm gonna throw this out here. If you haven't, my guest for next week, make sure you follow, sub to him. None other than James, aka The Brink. They are one. I love that catchphrase. Um, aka Games Reveal. Make sure you go check him out. One of my favorite content creators. Literally, if you need to know anything about the Steam Deck, in depth, he's your guy. Casual, he's your guy. Hands on, that's who you need to check out. Like, literally, amazing content. I've been following him this entire year. Check him out. Definitely do so. And yeah, that being said, we're out. We have done 2.5 hours. And I still need to stream Street Fighter 6 before this beta ends. Anyway, if y'all enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button, sub if you haven't, share it around. We got channel memberships and also we got Patreon. So check us out there if you want early access to other content that I put out, behind the scenes, especially the stuff I do with the gaming and tech industry, as well as voice actors and such. So definitely check those out. New tiers on the YouTube side of things. Um, we got an honorary Oos since I am Samoan and I love the bloodline. More so, I love the Usos and Sami Zayn, not so much Roman Reigns because they're entertaining. But anyways, we got an honorary Oos section, or honorary Oos is Samoan for brother. So we got a honorary title for that within the new tiers on on the not Facebook channel memberships here. So there's that. Also, make sure you check out the Decked Up audio podcast, the Decked Up Steam Deck podcast in audio format, available on all major podcasting outlets. So this episode will be going up very shortly. And we also have the other three podcasts I'm on, which is Podcast Across Worlds with Leo Superfina and myself. We talk about anime, manga, and such. And then there's the Casanova podcast, my main one. I interview gaming tech industry, voice actors, and such at various celebrities. And then my last podcast, which I'm going to be doing more of, is kind of more of like a edgy. We just talk about everything. There's no filter. called the Best Damn Podcast Show, period. That is in the works of coming back. It's been dormant since 2020, but it's going to be coming back. So check all that out. Updates on MikhailCasanova.com and all that. So all that being said, yes, definitely putting in that work. I got to go work on stuff, prep for the next stream, make sure I record some additional content, and get these videos out to you guys. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe, be blessed, have aloha, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.